Calvin Pickard era has begun, people. Remember where you were November 20th, 2023, because it's Calvin Pickard season, everybody. Hello and welcome. My name is Aaron Bordato, and welcome to Oilers Nation's Pregaming with BORDZY, an earlier edition of Pregaming with BORDZY today. Feels weird. Pat, is the sun still out? Actually, take a look out the window right now.
Take a look here. Yep.
Yeah, the sun is still out. So I think that's a first, honestly. And we're gonna be having some early ones all week this week. It's a little bit of a weird schedule this week, but hello everybody. We are live inside the Sports Closet studio, where the first comment of the day comes from JT. That's not two letters, that's JTEE. I have a good feeling for Pickard tonight. He will do good. 4-1 or a 5-2 win. Go Oilers. Christopher Palmer, my boy. I still have not gotten word if I can go to the game with you at the end of the month, Chris. I'm going to assume that's a no, and that's a reason I haven't been told yet, but we'll keep update with that. And I love this one from Jake in here. He said, well, I feel bad for you, Jake, but I do like this. Fellas, I have a nasty stomach bug, which has kept me home all day. This Oilers game and our very own Aaron Bordato have kept me going. If the Oilers don't pull this off, I will be a miserable boy. Jake, that's everything I'm looking for. Way to power through. No one ever said doing this show or After Dark or being an Oilers fan in general would ever be easy. It's a dirty job. Someone's got to do it. Thanks for being with me today. I see Christopher Palmer. What? No home studio? Yeah, it's 4 o'clock. You know, I felt I might as well stay at the office, Pat, except we're really the only two left here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of there's a bunch of chaos right before we went live. I swear a desk just got broken directly behind me there. Surprised if anyone could pick that up on the audio. But we're rolling. Braden Showtime. Nothing but good times with BORDZY. That's because we're pre-gaming, baby. There's always hype and good energy in pre-gaming. After Dark is usually where it tends to go downhill. So a little housekeeping note. Yaremchuk will join us. He's not avoiding the grind. He's actually doing extra grind. He's over at Gregor's studio trying to help out over there. And he told me we'll be joining at roughly around 4:20. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Thank you very much. But Pat is with me today. I got Pat behind the desk today. Pat, how we feeling? How we doing? You looking good?
Thank you. Honestly, yeah, no, I feel good. Like, I don't know what it is. Monday, a little bit of a change in that. You know, we'll get to that, obviously. But I'm feeling good about it right now, honestly.
And, like, I really have no reason to feel good.
I know.
But that's been the theme of every one of these shows all year long. That's what you get with Pregame with BORDZY. We are always very optimistic. If you're joining us, please like the video, hammer that like button, smash it, whatever term you want me to use, and make sure you're subscribed. If you can't get in the chat, it's because you're not subscribed. And the chat is where things go down. Some stuff went down on the weekend a little bit here and there. It was a little eventful one we had going, but the Edmonton Oilers, it sucks, Pat. I said this to you. I have to write it down before every show.
Yeah.
5-10-1. Let's just step back for a moment and think of that one for a second. Never in my wildest dreams, nightmares, whatever you want to call it, did I think this would be our reality this quick into the season. But Pat, here we are.
I know, and that's the thing, right? Like, it kind of, we're giving off that vibe right now, the team at least, that, you know, we're playing good. We're shutting teams down a little bit more. I've got confidence going into the third period that we're not going to absolutely explode. But then you, like you said, you look at the record and you're like, I forgot.
I love that butt going in there.
I have mentally blocked the first 9 games out of the season out of my head. So, yeah, we're coming back, though, one at a time.
Hey, it's like we say, we playing good? And I'm like, well, we're playing better than we did at the beginning of the season. I don't know if it's necessarily good, but hey, we're moving on up, like we said before the show. Totally just blocked out all of the losses to really start the year because it doesn't feel that bad. Mm-hmm. But I know some Oiler fans are down in the dumps. It's been a rough year. Hand up. Got to be accountable here on Pregame with BORDZY. I said the Florida Panthers were going to miss the playoffs this year.
Well, they started the season without 2 of their best defensemen, 2 of some of the best defensemen in the league, honestly. And there wasn't really much hope there. You got to look at that and go, well, it's going to be a rough start for them. And they've proved us wrong, to be completely honest.
They really have. So, as I said, I thought Florida was going to have a big Stanley Cup hangover. Like when you break it down with their season last year, nice, we got a little matchup here we have some yellow on our side, Patrick. We are better at one thing than they are. And I'll take it and run with it, baby. I'll spend 20 minutes on the power play tonight then. But for the Panthers, right? Sergei Bobrovsky, he's an older gentleman, definitely on the back half of his career. Really until the playoff run of last year, that was borderline one of the worst contracts to be handed out in the last 10 years, I'd say, of the NHL. And then what do you know? And I'm going to say this, I got to pull my mic away when I say it. Sergei Bobrovsky is back on the case. Paying a little homage to our boy Jay Onrait. I love you, Jay. But he turns it around. They get going. You have guys like Brandon Montour last year stepping up. Obviously, Aaron Ekblad. Carter Verhaeghe comes out of stud, what feels like out of the woodwork. Now he's a first-line winger. Sam Reinhart this year going off, but last year doing his thing. Oh, yeah, they got Matthew Tkachuk as well. Seems to appear they got the better end of the Jonathan Huberdeau deal, wouldn't you say, Pat?
I would say, unless they, for some reason, felt like they needed to sit Tkachuk for whatever reason. Yeah, I think they're doing okay.
Yeah, but it's going to be a good matchup tonight. We don't get to see Florida very often. It's an early one as well. So I'm sorry we're starting at 4. I'm sure some of you are still at work. So we have the best job in the world. So we're going to be ready to roll no matter what. I hope the Oilers are ready to roll no matter what. Honestly, for the Oil, for me this year, it's like, I wish it was just one specific thing that I could really put my finger on, right? To be like, oh, it's goaltending. While goaltending hasn't been good, there's no way anyone could look me in the eyes and say that's the only issue of what's going on. It's everything in this lineup. For me, it's giving up odd man rushes. It's stars needing to show up. It's obviously goaltending. It's the give a shit meter. Pat, how are you going to fix any of these one things? I mean, bringing in Calvin Pickard, I don't expect to fix my goaltending, and that's definitely not going to fix any of the other issues. Yeah. It has to come from in-house.
That's true. I do like the fact, we make it, not saying I wanted Jay Woodcroft out, but it kind of kickstarted the guys a little bit. There's no denying that. Now we've got a new goalie in. And I don't know about you, but personally, when I was playing hockey back in the day, even still now in beer league, we put in, this is kind of a funny story. We put in a player as a goalie the other day because our goalie got hurt mid-game and no one wanted to go home. We played so much better in front of the player goalie than our actual goalie that he let in less goals. So maybe something along those lines can happen tonight where the Oilers, they want this win for Pickard, that he's coming in. He's maybe a little nervous. He's got a lot of NHL experience at the same time, so maybe he's ready. But I just think it's one thing at a time, right? If we can keep the goals out of the net, we can start putting more goals in the net. Everything will just kind of flow into the right direction.
No doctor, but if you score more goals than the other team, I'm pretty sure that's going to work out for you for the most part right there. But I love that, Pat. It's totally fair. Like, that's just like anything. Even though it's beer league, you got motivated players. There's no bigger motivator than fear.
Yeah.
And when you know that your guy is not up to the challenge, you got to take it upon yourself. So, hey, maybe there's an angle with the Calvin Pickard thing tonight. Once again, it's not like Pickard is a dog shit goaltender who's never played in the show before. He's had lots of experience. Do we know what he is? I think so. Is it crazy for anybody to be saying that Calvin Pickard's going to trap lightning in a bottle and carry this team to the Stanley Cup? I'm not going to say that. I do say crazy things, and even I'm not going that far. So that's kind of a thing here. I did want to ask in the chat, what do you guys, nice, Lance is in here, everybody, take a breath. He said, Bordsy, I'm sorry, I forgot it was an early game. Hey, it happens. It happens. I saw, was it Sergeant Battle here? Pre-gaming while I'm still at work? What a way to end the workday, buddy. I never leave work without it right here. I got Crown Royal behind my head 24/7. But I wanted to ask people in the chat, throw it in for me, just kind of a broad one here. What do you think has been the biggest issue for the Edmonton Oilers this year? I said goaltending, stars, whatever. I want to see some in here. I'll read them out loud. I just want to pick your guys' brains a little bit. And hey, I'm just like the rest of you. Fan is short for fanatic, and we're all in this. I don't have many answers. Maybe you guys do. But it's kind of a weird week in the NHL. Like I said, there's no games tomorrow at all. There's no games on Thursday for American Thanksgiving. And then Friday, there's day games. So pregaming's taking over Oilers Nation every day at noon. So it's going to be a little bit of a weird one. We're starting it off, hopefully with some Monday juices flowing. And it's 4 games this week because we take on the Ducks on Sunday as well. You're going to be seeing a lot of this face on your YouTube screen this week. I am going to get my hair cut before Thursday as well. Maybe I won't wear a hat for once. People have been calling me out. They said, Aaron, do you have hair? That's for me to know and you to find out. Okay. But 7 games in the NHL tonight. The ones I have circled, Rangers Stars. That's a great matchup right there. 2 Stanley Cup contending teams. I could see arguably both those teams, making a Final Four. Avs Predators. I do like that one. I think the Avs are really going to get things are starting to roll here and whatnot. Also, Ryan Johansson revenge game, I do believe. Sprinkle a little on there. I love a good revenge angle. But the big one besides the Oilers for me, it's Bruins Lightning. Those 2 teams. The Bruins, another one. My predictions. I predicted Quinn Hughes 20 goals, but I said the Bruins and Panthers weren't going to make the playoffs.
That's not looking good for you right now.
Whoops on that one. The Boston Bruins, man, I don't know how they do it. They have culture. They have Boston sports culture. I made the joke to my buddy the other day. I'm a Pats fan chasing old dynasties, but I said they're the new Patriots of Boston sports town, of title town over there. But Bruins Lightning, Pat, who's winning that one?
I'm giving it to the Bruins. I just think the Lightning's goaltending struggling a little bit. We exposed that even a little bit when we played them the other day. So I'm going Bruins for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of exposed goaltending, Derek Ryan scored the sickest goal of all time because he didn't make a move or do anything. The irony as well of doing that against Nikita Kucherov, who invented whatever, the Kuch move right there. I was like, well, Derek Ryan perfected it because he didn't even mean to do it. But he did. Just looking in here, our biggest problem is consistent goaltending as it's always been. But fair. That's fair. I agree. That is probably my number one. But it's goaltending. You need good defense in front of you, too. You got to play a 200-foot game or whatever. I think the ice is 200 feet, right?
Yeah.
Fighting Amish says 97 not being 97 is my biggest hot take. I have been very timid on wanting to rip into Connor McDavid. Not even rip into him isn't the right term, but speak ill of him. And we're getting into that territory here because for a while here, we said we thought he was injured, something going on with him. He was injured. He missed 2 games. So that was kind of our cover up of why, but it just isn't going there. Frank Saravalli today said that Cole Perfetti has more points than Connor McDavid in the NHL this year. I blocked my ears and I said, Frank, get off my screen. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want any part of that. You see it on your screen here, the last 5. Leon Draisaitl has been a point of contention as well. I know on After Dark, our boy Gavin had some fired up takes on it. He wasn't wrong. I understand with the points that you can always mile on. Statistics can prove anything.
Yeah.
60% of all people know that. But while the numbers do look great, I get the point he was making is it's the Leon, the pissy Leon and whatnot. But when you do put the puck in the back of the net the way he does, I get people's hesitancy. The thing for me is if you want to be called a world-class top 3 player in the world, I'm not just looking at your points. I need the eye test and I need to see it from you. So there's that, but we will all get into that the more we go along. It's a big game today, but I wanted to say the biggest game of them all, it's in the NFL tonight. It's in the NFL tonight. The Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Kansas City, I believe, to take on the Chiefs. Super Bowl rematch. I can't lie, I am pissed that the Oilers game is during this. At least the football game starts an hour later, so we should be able to catch some of that. But whoever makes the schedule, I don't like you, whatever. I have a big fantasy matchup in this as well with Liam for first place in the Oilersnation League. So there's some extra stress. Pat, you're a football guy. Who's winning that game?
Oh, man. The Eagles are hot.
I don't think Taylor Swift is in attendance. I don't know that for sure, but I read.
It's in KC or it's in Philadelphia?
I think it's in KC.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I'm taking the Eagles on this one. And this is always one of those tough ones where if you do have some fantasy implications, you're like, oh, I've got this guy playing tonight, but he's playing KC or but he's playing Philadelphia. So it's one of those games that could be very low scoring or very high scoring. So I'm taking Philadelphia in this one, but I'm really not that confident in that.
Yeah, I think I'm also going Eagles. I hate both of these teams as a Patriots fan. I hate Philadelphia. I hate the Eagles, and I hate Patrick Mahomes because you'll never beat Tom Brady. Look, you'll never beat Tom Brady. But I believe the Chiefs are 2.5-point favorites. So we'll throw it on that. But that's enough talk about that. Let's get into our matchup. Let's get into our Sherwood Ford Giants storyline. For me, it's obvious. It's the title of the episode. And I said November 20th, 2023. Remember this day. The Calvin Pickard era beginning. Can Calvin Pickard be a serviceable NHL goaltender? We've seen what he can do previously in the league. We have some of his NHL numbers. It was mediocre, to be honest, but he's done what he's done. I really have no reason to expect that he will improve. He'll trap lightning in a bottle and he can be the lift that we need. But I don't really need that. I just need him to give me I think Jay today said, give me a 9 save percentage, allow 3 goals. Ideally, we should be able to move past with this one. So you're telling me there's a chance with Pickard, baby. Pat, you agree with that as the lead Sherwood Ford Giant storyline?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's really the only thing we can focus on today. And honestly, he's shown us, like you said, decent numbers in the past. If he can keep that going, he doesn't have to be amazing. He just has to play hockey like he's done his entire life. And if the guys play good in front of him, we'll be just fine.
Yep, I agree. I see Liam's in here and he says, cool show. I'm going to leave a like. The rest of you should be like Liam. Everybody be more like Liam and give me a nice little thumbs up back home. Gaviscon. Nice. That's a cool name. Gaviscon, and it's gone. KC wins. Arrowhead is very hard to play in for the opposition. QF Bro, leave a like for my boy Pickard. He's going to carry my fantasy team tonight. Good luck with that one, brother. Move. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I like this from Cole. I think we need Connor to put pucks in the net tonight. The boys have to shut down defensively, considering the shot percentage for the Panthers. Yeah, that's a good take right there. I agree with that. Jake Thacker, like goal 69. Nice. I agree. Let's roll with it. But okay, let's pull up the projected lineup for the Edmonton Oilers. They're switching it up a bit. They're getting her going, and we're going back to old reliable 11-7. I was worried that was just going to be a Jay Woodcroft thing because I love 11-7. I want more 97 and 29 in my life. It just makes me feel better. But I didn't think we'd see it again, but that's not the case. In Knob, we trust. You see it on your screen. First line, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid with Connor squared, Connor Brown. It'll be his second game back from injury. We'll dig into his performance in just a minute. Second line of Evander Kane, Leon Draisaitl with Zach Hyman. Then it's Warren Fogle, Ryan McLeod, and 2 goals in 1 game, Derek Ryan. I can still barely hear out of my right ear for how many times Waz screamed that in my ear on Saturday. Yeah. But I ain't complaining. That's what my boy does, and that's what we get. He's his number 1 fan. Then your fourth line, no, number 86, Philip Broberg, is not playing forward. We're going to be rocking James Hamblin and Sam Gagner on the fourth, ideally rotating in with 97-29. D pairings in front of Broberg all stay the same. Darnell Nurse with Cody Ceci, Matthias Ekholm with Evan Bouchard, and my boy Brett Kulak and Vincent Desharnais. Let me start here at the very top. It's 97. We just kind of roughly talked about this. QF Pro. Oh, Ernie is healthy scratched. Yes, we believe so. Once again, projected roster, projected lineup. But from everything we've seen today, I'm pretty confident with that. But Connor McDavid, what's up with this guy right now? Doing the math, I believe he has 3 points in his last, 5 or 6 games there. Frank, the thing I said, he said Cole Perfetti has more points than McDavid. I don't know if it's just an injury thing because I said for the last game in the last couple of years, Connor McDavid is still doing Connor McDavid things. He is dipsy doodling up the ice, dangling people out of their boots. It's just a little, I don't want to say there's no finish because there is finish. It's just not going our way. We're not getting the bounces. We were talking today about how hard it was on Saturday to watch, like the difficulty in completing simple passes. And that applies to 97. He's not exempt from all of this. I've been trying to be nice to him because you want to give a guy like that the benefit of the doubt. He is the best player in the world. Any given day, I'm taking him. But right now, he's not the best player in the world. And it's simple to say that. It's a results-based league. And it just hasn't been happening. But I see it here. You're telling me there's a chance. Number 1 fan showing that super nuclear McDavid tonight. Not just nuclear McDavid. Not just super McDavid. super nuclear, McDavid. I really like that. I love this from Liam, and we talked about this today. They're talking no Ernie in the lineup. Ernie needs to be sent to the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. That's mean.
A little bit.
I was about to say, yeah, we'll just send him to the rigs. He can just start work. He looked really good. And remember his coverall situation he looked like a lifer up there on the rigs. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what the Oilers are about, baby. Helps pay my salary. But as well on the top line, you see it. It's Connor Brown. He's going to stick around. It's a work in progress. I get it on Saturday. It was a tough one, the way that game went and fell apart. We blew it in the third period, but a lot of people were calling for Connor Brown's head. I get that he hasn't been what we were sold on in the offseason. To be honest, I think we are part of me, Liam, and Tyler helped try to sell on that, so hand up. But you got to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. We saw it in preseason, his ability, and I know it's preseason, but his ability to work on the fly with McDavid, find open areas. Connor does a stick lift, knocks the puck, gets the puck. Connor Brown finds a way to get open. I haven't seen a lot of that from him, but as we said today, I need to give him a minimum of 5 games on that line, 4 or 5 games, to see what he's got, see what he can do. Pat, do you agree with that take?
Yeah, I think we're going to start to see that a little bit more too with Nobbin. How can you gain that trust in a player you're playing with without playing with them? It would a little more time together, and we could really see them click. And I think it starts tonight. Keep those lines together.
Yep, exactly. It could. I just hope so. I just want to speak that into existence. I'm going to go LeVar Ball style and just make it happen. So that's the top line right there. I see it in your BAT says it's Hockey Fights Cancer Night tonight in Florida. Nice. I did not know that. That's cool. Good for them. Good for them. I guess that leads me into James Hamblin, which we'll talk about in just a second. But the second line, it stays together. It's Kane. It's Dry. It's Hyman. We talked about it that is a Stanley Cup second line on name value and on offense. The problem with that line is they have the ability to play defense. I will forever say defense is just caring and wanting it, that anyone can play things like that, but they haven't been great. They have, look, there's my member right there. It's 4:23, so he's 3 minutes behind schedule. We'll take it. Mr. Yaremchuk, how we doing?
Good. I said 4:20-ish.
You did.
And I had to piss when I got home. So if you really needed to know the reason I was 3 minutes late, not that it takes me 3 minutes to urinate, but regardless, I'm here.
Let's all go around the horn and say how long it took. No. Well, thank you, Tyler, for joining us. Not avoiding the grind, I said, doing extra grind and helping set up our competitors right now on the YouTube channel, actually, Ty. We got 2 shows going right now on the YouTube channel. Look at us.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Look at that. Yeah, to be honest. Before Pat goes, is this going to mess with their stuff? I said, let's find out. But I was just talking about the second line. Ty, it's something we've touched on. It's the ability. You have to play a 200-foot game for that second line. For me, there's one. We broke it down today. Where it was the Evan Bouchard turnover, the Tanner Jeannot goal that happened in the last game. And while that one, I'm focusing on Evan Bouchard, it was very noticeable to see the back check from the team. And that line specifically was not really there. Ty, second line, you want to keep them together still? Because I do. There's really nobody on there that I want to take that spot.
I think I want to see a change. Like you talked about that Jeannot goal or Jeannot goal. That wasn't an Evan Bouchard goal against. That wasn't a Stuart Skinner goal against or a Darnell Nurse goal against. I viewed that as a 6-man goal against. I think the forwards were all way too low. No one seemed interested or even looked like they were thinking about their own end or the chance of a counter rush. And I just think that's what you get too often with those 3 is there's just not enough attention to, okay, we want to score, but at the same time, what the hell is that? But at the same time, I'm so scatterbrained right now, bro. At the same time, they don't sit there and go, oh, there could be a counterattack. When they're in the D zone, they're not thinking, okay, do I have my guy? Am I boxing out? No, they're thinking, how could this play flip and turn around back the other way as fast as possible? So I think I'm good. I think I want to see a different trio. The easy solution, just when you look at the numbers and how they perform on the ice, is to swap Evander Kane and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Yeah, that could be a very Very usable move there. And I agree with everything you just said. In our own end, that line plays hockey like I play the Chell video games
Yeah.
because I am ready to go up the ice immediately. I'm not covering the front of the net. And it gets frustrating. A lot of people here asking, Jake says he's worried about your prostate, Tyler. He's worried about your
I'm sure I'll be okay.
Just hope. Yeah, no, we got a lot of years. We're still young boys. I did notice this, and I kind of wanted to put this in the chat here. Just in general for the Oilers this season, I saw Waz made a tweet, and he asked, "Who do you think has been the Oilers' best, most consistent forward this season?" So everybody in the chat, fly it in there. I want to know what you guys all think. I think I'm going to go either Evander Kane or Zach Hyman would be my consistency. With Evander Kane, it wasn't to start the year. It's tough. Let me ask Ty. Who's your it's a balance between best and most consistent. Because you can't be like
Evander Kane. Yeah, Evander Kane had 4 games where we were calling him dead weight. So I don't know if I want to go that far and say he's been the most consistent. Zach Hyman's worst stretch actually wasn't that bad. Just looking at, again, his on-ice numbers. I think Zach Hyman's worst stretches were survivable. And he's had a couple of really, really great runs as well. When you look at who's been on the ice, Zach Hyman's been on the ice for the most goals scored this season at 5-on-5 amongst any Oiler. He's been on for 17. Second is Draisaitl at 13. So I think Zach Hyman's probably my answer. Now, granted, to go with that number, he's been on the ice for the second most goals against as well. So, that'll hurt him, or that hurts him a little bit, but it's been consistent at least. There hasn't been the massive peaks and valleys, but he's found a way to contribute in a meaningful way. So I think my answer is Zach Hyman. I
almost spit my drink out when I read Kyle's comment here, and he said Ernie. Consistently sitting up in the press box. Hey, that is there. A lot of answers here. Dacky, Kane, and Hyman, in my opinion. Fogle, a lot of Warren Fogel's in there, and I would agree with that. Contract year Warren Fogle is a beast, and I want him one year after 1 year. There's another guy on the other side of the ice in the contract year tonight who is going off as well. We'll get into that in a bit. Pat, who would you say is your most consistent Oilers forward this year?
Yeah, I think I'm going with Hyman as well. It's just one of those guys where you don't see him make too many mistakes out there, always grinding, battling in front of the net, which we seem to struggle with this year, is being in front of the net. So I like to see that. I'm going Hyman for sure. Fogle may be a close second, but he's had a couple of games here and there, which is normal, but Hyman for sure.
I think it's Hyman. You just know what you're getting with a guy like that. I've always said he's not skilled, or not the most skilled. He's effort-based, but I agree with what Braden said in here. Can I say Bordzy's been the most consistent? Because this show is the only thing that hasn't let me down yet. Hey, just like every girlfriend I've ever had, just wait, brother. Just wait. I'm sure I will find a way to disappoint you in some way.
Just quickly on Fogle as well. No one on the Oilers has been shooting the puck at a better rate than Warren Fogle. He has 11.98 shots per 60 at 5-on-5. That leads the Oilers. Second on the team, 10.18. So every 60 minutes, you're almost getting 2 more shots from Warren Fogle on net compared to any of his other teammates, which is stunning. And if you want a number that is really damning, do you want to guess, out of the 22 Oilers who have played a 5-on-5 shift this year, do you want to guess where Connor McDavid ranks in shots per 60? Individual shots per 60?
If it's dead last, I'm going to stop doing this show.
Pat, what do you think out of 22 guys?
I'm afraid to guess 15th.
12th. 5.92. The Oilers that rank above him are Nuge, Nurse, Brown, Bouchard, Dry, Ekholm, Holloway, Hyman, Gagne, Kane, then Fogle. And if you want to feel even worse about it, we ripped Ryan McLeod for not shooting the puck. Connor McDavid has a 5.92 shots per 60. Ryan McLeod is at 5.75. So just a few stats to really make you feel extra miserable at 4:30 on a Monday.
Oh, I didn't like that one. I said to start off the show today, Ty, that I've been nicer, not harsh on Connor McDavid all season because he's Connor McDavid. But we're getting into territory here where we got to hold everyone accountable. And if you have similar numbers to Ryan McLeod, oh, that hurts. Dog, why did you tell me that? I don't like that.
Connor
that
McDavid is
won't be-
under a point a game right now. Under a point a game. I came into this year being like, he has a chance to do 2 points per game this year. That's like an expectation I think we could set of McDavid when you consider how his career's gone. Under a point a game right now. Stunning.
I remember sitting in this room saying, could he get 164? But yeah, of course he could. Yeah, we could do that. Does not feel like that right now. But the guy we just mentioned, Ryan McLeod, in the nicest way I can say this, sometimes Ryan McLeod makes me want to beat my head against this brick wall that's right here behind me. It's just a frustrating thing because he has the size, he has the speed, he has the talent, he has the hands.
Yep.
He has every single tool that you need to be a top 6 stud centerman. He's just not able to pull it together. Tyler, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because we sit here every show and say the same things about him. I'm sure he knows this. I'm sure the knob is telling him this. I'm sure his own teammates are telling him this to stick with it. Try going to the center of the net more. Is this ever going to happen? Because I don't think so.
Man, yeah, like I'll be honest. There's a reason I'm hemming and hawing about it is just because we do see this with guys in the NHL. This happens where someone comes in, they look good, they look promising, but it's one thing to make the NHL, man. It's another thing to become a consistent everyday NHLer for a decade. Like, I mean, just look through, think of all the first round picks the Oilers have had in the last 16, 17 years, right? Like guys like Andrew Cogliano, Sam Gagner. It's very rare to have guys do what they did, where they like found a spot in the lineup, had to change their game at one point from being this big skill top 6 guy, or at least those were your expectations, to going and learning a bottom 6 role. It can be really, really hard. And I really want to like Ryan McLeod. I really want this to happen, but there's a part of me that's just like, maybe it's just not in the cards.
Lance said that's not brick. You don't know that, Lance. I laid these myself individually.
Prove us wrong.
One by one. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. A lot in here. Number 1 fan, 2.1 million for a lot of skating. Not good. He also said he skates a lot, though. Gaviscon, team has all the talent in the world. It's a philosophy to play better defensively. Yeah,
Yep.
maybe they're half awake. Adam, has Connor hit his soft cap? No, not at all. No. We're not even going to begin to live in that world. Brad and Esky. And to be fair, this one could apply to me too. Tyler, I said before the year, I had the Bruins and Panthers not making the playoffs. Whoops. But Brad and Esky said, Tyler needs to stop giving out takes before the season. They all age like the fastest expiry date ever. Hey, shooters shoot. You keep shooting and you have some good takes, okay?
I said the Kraken would miss this year. They're not looking good. So there's one I might get right. But yeah, preseason predictions not been too kind to me recently.
No, not at all. I saw somebody in here mention before that I guess tonight in Florida is Hockey Fights Cancer Night. It's a great segue into our boy James Hamblin. Got on the score sheet last game. What a sick goal that was, as we heard today. I believe Knobs' reaction to him as he asked him, was that 250 or 251? Because that looked like a goal. A goal scorer scores all the time. That was the ultimate moment, looking up to his late mother, who battled hard. What a good game for him to have that. It's nice that this kind of follows it up behind there. Memories he's going to have forever. I guess, let me ask, like, because it was the Pride Tape stuff was banned. Was the Hockey Fights Cancer stuff ever banned, or was theme nights banned? What was the deal with this thing?
So no theme jerseys at all. So when the teams take to the ice for warm up, they won't be wearing the Hockey Fights Cancer jerseys, which of course would get auctioned off and then raise money for charity. And the NHL decided, no, we can't be having any of that. What are you thinking? So yeah, you won't see the jerseys tonight. They're starting to do a thing where like the players will wear them into the rink and stuff, which is kind of cool. But you won't actually see Pride jerseys Hockey Fights Cancer jerseys on the ice. You guys are getting off topic here in the chat. Pull it back. I can't read that out loud. Let's pull it back. Easy. I also have done drywall before though, and it sucked. I really didn't like it. But speaking of the last game, you said you're not gonna get many Derek Ryan 2-goal games and James Hamblin 1-goal games. You're not gonna have many where Derek Ryan doesn't even have to touch the puck to score on a breakaway. Everything was there for the taking for the boys.
and they blew it, and the Stars are a reason that they blew it. Can you expect a bounce back game like that tonight? Like we saw the boys did their interview with Spector. They know that they are a large reason why this team is not performing the way they are. And it's one thing to know it. Do we have confidence that the big dogs are going to show up tonight, Ty?
I mean, you're always somewhat confident with these two just because we've seen them do it 100 times, right? Like they've been so consistent throughout this in their entire careers with the Oilers that watching them go through this stretch is just, it's mind blowing. So like, yeah, at some point these guys are going to get going. And just like I still believe this with the Oilers for the most part, at some point they will win 10 in a row, or not 10. At some point they will win 5 or 6 in a row. At some point, McDavid and Draisaitl will have 5 or 6 game runs where they have like 18 points over those games. Like those will come. You just don't know when the streak's going to start.
Yeah, that's true. I like how we said 10-game heater like a couple weeks ago. And now we're kind of pulling back a little bit, being like, I'll take one. I'll just take one. Well, the 3 in a row was very nice. So hey, beggars can't be choosers. Defensive changes tonight, Ty. Going back to 11-7. We're gonna see some Philip Broberg again tonight. I'm happy. I don't want him in the AHL really at all this season. We talked about it. Well, this is when I thought we were Stanley Cup hopefuls and contenders, that I needed to know by the trade deadline what Philip Broberg is. And you're only going to find that out by playing him up here in the NHL. Well, he's back in the lineup tonight. Looks like he's the 7th defenseman, kind of the odd man out. What do you think what do you think the Knob's going to kind of, I don't know, roll him out like? Because we know what Woody did. Wouldn't play him a ton of minutes, occasionally here and there. If he made a mistake, he was done. He was sitting down for arguably the rest of the game. Where do you think Nobby goes with this? And yeah, just kind of a breakdown. It's nice to see 86 back. I want him up.
Yeah. So he played at least 13 minutes in each of his first 3 games of the season, Vancouver, Nashville. And then from that point on, in his next 5 games, he didn't clear 13 minutes once. It was 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 12 minutes, 7, and then 5:46 in his last NHL game against the Dallas Stars. So I think having him up, you got to play him. I would give him some shifts over Evan Bouchard on the second pairing right now and pick and choose your spots there a little bit better. Maybe it's a scenario, as weird as this sounds, maybe even on some ozone starts. You give Philip Broberg the shift in there. Maybe he's a little bit better defending in transition. I know Bouchard's been fine off the rush, but like I'm just trying to find ways to cut down on moments where Evan Bouchard's lapses will kill you. And I think that just means giving Broberg a few more shifts, and playing him with Ekholm is probably the smart play.
I love that. That's exactly where I was going to go with this, is that we know what Bouch is, and I'm sorry, at least right now, he needs to be, insulated is a term or whatever. He needs to be covered. He needs to have his shifts kind of picked and chose a little bit, play it smart, because we know the great things he does offensively, but we know the liability he is defensively. Yeah. Is Philip Broberg some defensive stalwart stud? No, I know that. But if I need to take a little bit less minutes from Bouchard to bring up Broberg up a little, Bouchard's going to be fresher. And the same thing goes, is that means he'll be getting shifts with Mattias Ekholm. Broberg was paired with Ekholm for a little bit this season. In the preseason, we talked about how, wow, man, does that feel like a long time ago, that, Evan Bouchard could really take off, and he won't need Mattias Ekholm to cover for him. Ekholm can go play with Broberg. We got to start making preseason takes. The more I keep saying that, I feel pretty stupid over here in this chair right now. But I still do believe, I'm still stupid, because I do believe that Broberg being paired with an Ekholm like that, that's the only way that he's going to get better. We saw it with Evan Bouchard. Once he was paired with a Duncan Keith, paired with an Ekholm. That's no new science to the game of hockey. Take your young guy, pair him with a responsible older veteran, and it goes, and it should improve. At least we'll see. Final buzzer says Broberg will go at deadline. Hockey friend, Broberg was a wasted pick anyways. I don't know about that.
I don't think you can go that far. I mean, it's not exactly early in his professional hockey career anymore, but we know D-men take longer to develop. Is he ever going to be a top pairing guy? No. So when you look back at that draft and it's like, yeah, like you should have taken Cole Caulfield with that pick and been like, that's a guy who scores a ton of goals. He'll look good on 97's wing. Like that was the pick. But again, it's hindsight. I know a lot of people were right in the moment. I wasn't one of them. I was fine with the Broberg pick in the moment. I was like, hey, listen, you're getting a guy who's going to be a shutdown D-man for you. That'd be a nice thing to add to this group. And you looked at the other pieces you kind of had mixed around. But yeah, I mean, you look back on it, you'd love a redo, but that's not how it works, unfortunately.
Exactly. At the time, I was a big fan of it. All we needed was more defensemen at the time. I wanted another sexy Swedish defenseman, obviously. We were down one. We had to get another one in here, in the building. But I don't know, Darnell Nurse, homegrown D-man, Evan Bouchard, homegrown D-man, Philip Broberg.
Yeah.
I had the same hopes for Broberg that I had for these guys too. They're all taken around the same spots in the draft. But hey, that's that. We spent a lot of time in the Oilers. Let's move along here to the starting goaltenders, which is brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. They used to be known as Free Spirit Marine and Power Sports since 1985. They're teaming up with the good people at Sherwood Ford to relocate to Sherwood Park and rename to Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Tyler, point upwards. Boom, right there, baby, right there. Brand new state-of-the-art facility in the heart of Sherwood Park, across the road from Millennium Place, just down the road from Sherwood Ford. We discovered you can see it from Sherwood Ford, as Tyler and Liam, they let us know that live. Opening February 24, 2024. And yeah, go check it out when it's there. They got everything you need. Pat, let's take a look at it. So these numbers, Pat, for Pickard are these are his career NHL numbers. There is Sergei Bobrovsky on the other side of the thing. Yeah, Tyler didn't hear me yell it the first time, so that's good. Calvin Pickard, 35, 54, and 10 with a 304 goals against and a 903 save percentage. I'll take that. If you can give me that tonight, I will take that with the biggest smile on my face. I'll say thank you, Calvin Pickard. I'll follow him on Instagram. I'll follow him on Twitter because he'll be a dog for life. Am I confident that that's going to happen? I don't really know what to expect. He's had good numbers in the AHL. We'll show you that in just a minute. But then you look over to the other side, and it's Sergei, I won't yell it, Bobrovsky. 13 games played, 8-4-1, a 263 goals against, and a 907 save percentage, one S word. Man, I really thought that Bobrovsky's career was over. Like last year, I can't believe that he's been able to string this together. Trapped lightning in a bottle for the playoffs. He's a big-time player, Ty. I said before that until the playoffs last year, that was arguably one of the worst signings in like the last 10 years. And now it looks pretty smart.
It's still probably one of the most unmovable contracts in the NHL when you consider like he is still inconsistent. Last year in the regular season, a 307 and a 901, some really ugly periods there. But yeah, you mentioned his numbers this year, but he hasn't been unbeatable, but he's been consistent, which is really all Florida needs. Like he's only allowed more than 4 goals on 3 occasions this season. In one of those games, he faced a really high amount of shots too. So yeah, I mean, the one shutout, like you said, a lot of his games are 2 or 3 goals. Like he's allowed at least 2 goals in each of his last 5 starts. The Oilers will be able to beat him. I'm nervous about Pickard being the better goalie in tonight's matchup. But if Pickard can give him a 903 or a 900, the Oilers are going to have a good shot tonight. It's a very low bar here in Edmonton. And I feel like we're a little bit like twisted and messed up because we've been watching Skinner struggle and we watched Jack Campbell, who was just flat out terrible. But like an average AHL goalie can usually come up and give you a few spot starts at 895 to 900.
Guys, my 4:45 set your fantasy lineups alarm just went off. So everybody, check your lineups. It's Monday. It's the start of the week. It's a big week. If you're in a weekly league, you better get that in right now. But I know there's some good points right there. With Calvin Pickard, do you have his AHL numbers? Yeah, you do, right? Yeah, perfect. So look at this. 203, 939. Ty, you had the famous line. Puck's the same size in the AHL. I love that line so much because it's not wrong. But would it be crazy to expect if anybody has expectations for Pickard to come in here and take the starter's job or string together a week of good games? Don't hold your breath. Like you just said, my expectations for Oilers goaltenders are so low, my hand goes out of frame. That's how low my bar is right there. But we'll see. I mean, can we expect this guy to come up and change the entire team's outlook? No. Will that stop me from hoping and trying to force it into existence? No, as well. But I'm very excited to see what kind of game he is going to give us. We talked about trades for goaltenders. We brought up the 3 Montreal guys today. Jake Allen, Montembeault, and what is it, Primo? Yeah, but whatever. There they are, the 3 of them right there. While once again, none of those guys are really long-term answers for me. And to be honest, I made the joke earlier. Whichever guy we sell, whoever we get, I need to make sure that they are above or one of the best in the league at opposing 2-on-1s, odd man rushes, because that's what we give up more than anyone, in my opinion. And that's how a lot of these goals are getting scored against us. So I'd like to see that. Tyler, quickly, which one of these 3 do you want? Just simple.
Montembeault, probably. He's the one who is the best balance of age and experience, right? Like Jake Allen, a little bit more expensive, a little bit older. Caden Primo, largely unproven. Sam Montembeault, though, has had a couple of really quality runs at the NHL level at different points. So I think I'd be comfortable with Montembeault. He's also only $1 million. You're not going to pay up for Jake Allen at $3.8 million. You don't have the room to do it. So if you can get Montembeault, and I even floated out in the article I wrote today at Oilersnation.com, if you can get Montembeault at 50% retained since he's done at the end of the year, and your goalie's on the cap for only $500K, your cap picture's a little bit better. So paying the price for Montembeault is a little bit more worth it. And also, again, you can get that guy without having to attach Jack Campbell to it. You can't really get Jake Allen unless you attach Jack Campbell, and that involves paying a ton of assets.
That one just seems like the simplest and like best of both worlds kind of thing. Like, right, yeah. Jake Allen, older. Is he that much different than a Jack Campbell or a Stuart Skinner skill-wise? I don't really think so. And once again, the money's a little difficult. Primo, unproven, young guy. That ain't going to fix your problems. And then, in the middle, it's Montembeault. And yeah, I think that's the guy you go with. If you could get retained money, that would be beautiful. I'm pretty sure the Canadians don't expect to be making any deep playoff runs this year. So that could work in our favor. But that's the matchup today. It's going to be Pickard versus Bobrovsky once again. And yeah, let's see. Like Stuart Skinner said, all you got to do is play better than the guy on the other end. So Pickard, you're only playing against one guy tonight. Let's rock with that. Let's move along quickly here with the Florida Panthers lineup. And that one's presented by Greta Bar-Yeg. I said on After Dark on Saturday, if you wanted discount drinks, I was willing to buy them. And boy, was I at Greta for a couple hours on Saturday. I had a good time. The staff takes great care. They'll take great care of you too. They got it all: food, games, great drinks. It's great vibes. There's great vibes. They lead the league in vibes, in my opinion. I'll go with that. They're vibe leaders. But okay, Pat, pull it up for me. The Florida Panthers projected roster and lineup tonight. On the top line, it's Carter Verhaeghe, Anton Lundell, and Mr. Contract Year, Sam Reinhart. Man, we got the wrong Reinhart when we went down with our trades. I kind of despise that family name because of the pain they've put me through, but man, this guy is good. And he shows up. Second line, Evan Rodrigue with Sam Bennett. And an old foe is back on the ice tonight. We talked about that. Maybe this guy will get under the skin of 97 and 29 tonight. I think that's pretty fair to say. I think his face gets under my skin, and I'm how many thousands of miles away. So, yeah, I hope they'll be ready to go. Third line, Tyler, how the hell do I say that name?
You're looking at Eetu Luosterainen.
Of course. And then followed by Evan Skedland and Nick Cousins. Finally, Jonah Gadjevich, Steven Lorentz, and Ryan Lomberg. Deep pairings. They got some fresh bodies in there. Gustav Forsling and Aaron Ekblad is back. I love his first name, but man, I don't want him to be matched up against 97 tonight because he is a guy who is capable of it. Then it's second pairing, Nico Mikkola with Brandon Montour. He's back, playoff stud, playoff darling. If you didn't know who he was before the NHL playoffs, I guarantee you found out pretty quick after they went on quite the magical run. And then it's the most surprising of them all. It's Oliver Ekman-Larsson, A, that's still in the league, and B, good again, Tyler? I don't really understand. As a man who did the Canucks show last year, we spent 15 minutes an episode telling him why he needs to quit hockey. And he's been able to pull it back. And then an old friend of ours, Dmitry Kulikov, paired with him. So, Ty, let me just kind of get your overall thoughts on the roster. That top six, pretty loaded. The rest of it, not so loaded, right?
Yeah, like they'll work hard, but there isn't a ton to love about their bottom six right now. The top six can just kill you, though. That's a lot of quality. It's guys who work hard and get under your skin and have skill. They'll miss Alexander Barkov tonight. There's no doubt about that. But also, when you can just elevate a good quality young piece like Anton Lundell up your lineup, and then you insulate him with one of the best scorers in the league this year in Sam Reinhart, Carter Verhaeghe, one of the most underrated scorers in the league over the last number of years. The top six is legit. And then you mentioned the blue line. Like, I mean, if the Oilers get this matchup a week ago, they're facing a Panthers team that has no Montour and has no Ekblad and is relying on Oliver Ekman-Larsson to play top pairing minutes. And granted, he did it very well. Averaged 23 minutes and 30 seconds a night so far this season, and the results have been spectacular. He's got 11 points in 17 games. His shot metrics are solid. He's turned back the clock. And now Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets to play a proper role. And they have their two best defensemen back in the lineup. So their top four looks really, really legit again. It's not going to be easy to get scoring chances on this Florida Panthers team.
Yeah, Alex Barkov is out of the lineup tonight with a knee injury. Man, would that top six be looking even more scarier if he was up there. So I'm feeling like we dodged a bullet there with that one. I said contract year, Sam Reinhart. He's been a stud. Carter Verhaeghe is a guy who's been a little bit of a late bloomer, I guess, maybe whatever you want to call. He's had one hell of a year last year. These guys, they're able to put some goals up. And Calvin Pickard, do you have the matchup again with any of that, Pat, that you can show me? I just want to check their power play percentage because I know we were winning that one. It's the only stat category that we're beating them in. Yeah, there it is. Perfect. Thank you. So only a 16% power play, which is very surprising with the names like that. But they are playing an AHL goaltender tonight. So let's stay out of the box, please. Please, please, please. A little note here. Gina, shout out Gina. She said, to be more helpful, I'll just say Knob switched Nuge and Draisaitl, but the rest of the top six stayed in warmups. So we're going nuclear again, maybe?
I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a smoke screen just because it's 11-7, right? Like they might not have been doing a ton.
Oh, that's a very good call. We'll see when it all gets going, everybody. Keep your eyes out there. The blender for the Knob, it's really only been out for Connor and Leon, in my opinion, so much so far in the games we've seen. But that was one thing I thought we were going to see less of since Jay Woodcroft left. But no, I was wrong on that one too. Add it to the list, Tyler. But let's move along here. We only have 7 more minutes, so we got to vote quick, and I got to get my bets in. It's time for Betway. 19 plus, please play responsibly. It's Bordzy's Bankroll, where we pick 3 bets. We throw them in the chat. You vote on them and tell me what you like the most, and we squad ride, everybody. So first, we have some statistics here. Evander Kane has put up 6 points over his last 4 games. Kane has points in back-to-back games against the Florida Panthers, so he plays well against the Cats. Expect the Panthers to test Pickard early, with it being Calvin Pickard's first start in the NHL this season. Florida is averaging 33.8 shots on goal per game, 5th in the NHL. Then finally, Evander Kane has hit over 3.5 shots on goal in 3 straight games. During that 3-game span, he is averaging 5 shots on goal per 60. So he's not just beating the 3.5 shots on goal, he's smashing the shots on goal prop, just like you should be smashing the like button. Finally, the Oilers are putting up 34.4 shots on net per game. First in the NHL. Well, at least we have that, right, Ty? At least we have that. Could be worse. So if you look here, your choices are first one, Evander Kane, 1+ points at -135. Then it's Calvin Pickard over 27.5 saves, currently at minus, what does that say?
Plus 128.
Plus 120? Oh, okay, sweet. And Evander Kane over shots is also plus 120. 3.5 shots. Evander Kane. Everybody vote in the chat. He's been the most consistent. He's probably been the guy who's helped me make the most money so far this season. So, Ty, which one of these 3 do you like the most?
Yeah, Kane's hit this in 3 in a row. That's a decent spot. I'm looking here at the Florida Panthers, how many shots they've put up in recent games, and it's not that high. 27, 19, 23, 24, 30. Like, granted, that's just a 5-on-5. One sec. Let me just see the. There you go. 35, 31, 31, 31. Okay, so if you think the Oilers are going to win tonight, they're probably doing it because Pickard allows 3 or less goals, right? Like they're probably not winning this game 6-5 or whatever. So if you look at Oilers money line, payout is average, right? It's a pick 'em. But if they're going to win, they probably need Calvin Pickard to stop 28 shots or more in this hockey game. So it feels like almost a juicier way to bet on the money line. I don't mind that Pickard one.
I think it's even right on money line right now. I saw when I last checked, it was an even line. So hey, we just don't get crazy with it. Stay simple with it. Just gotta see one go through the hoop. Pat, what jumps out to you for these three?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that Calvin Pickard probably jumps out for me. I personally keep getting rolled on the over 3.5 shots, no matter who I pick.
You do love a good shot.
I do, but the over 3.5s aren't hitting for me. Although I do like Evander Kane over 3.5 in this game. And Evander Kane to get a point, 100% plausible at -135, not your best value. So just simply out value and what I want to see tonight, Calvin Pickard over 27.5.
I said November 20th, 2023. Remember the day. Remember where you were when Calvin Pickard turned this trajectory around and sent us the Stanley Cup final. Just looking in the chat right now. Currently in the lead is Kane, 1+ points at 45%. I'm a man of the people, so I ride with the people. If I had to pick, I think I'd be going Calvin Pickard over 27.5. But hey, that's the beauty of Betway. You can throw down as many bets as you want on there responsibly. And if you're above 19 years of age, Kane's 45%. Pickard and Kane shots are each at 28%. I think we're going to end it here now because I've got 2 minutes to get in my bet. So I got to rush and do this one again. Let me ask you, Tyler, score prediction tonight and give me an anytime goal score.
I'm going to say the Oilers get a 5-3 win and Connor Brown scores his first as an Oiler.
Oh, that would be sweet. Pat, what do you got?
It feels like a cop-out to pick 4-2 Edmonton, but that's what I'm going to go with for tonight. And I think Hyman's putting another one home.
Nice. I think it's going to be close. And like Tyler said, I think Pickard's letting in 3 goals. Our best idea is that he would just let in 3. So I'm going to say it's a tight one, 4-3. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins. I was not going to say McLeod. If anyone thought I was going to say McLeod there, you haven't been listening to me this whole show. I think Nuge is going to bury. So we'll end it there. We'll be doing Oilers Nation After Dark right after the game. It will be dark. I don't know. Me and Pat got to decide where we want to do it from. But I believe my special guest tonight, Tyler, can I tell the people? Because I think it's going to be him for the whole show. It's Waz, everybody. We're going to get Waz in his own lair at his house. He told me he was going to have a notepad out. He's going to check down on the game, and we'll see what happens. You'll have me on After Dark. That's all that matters. We'll be hanging out. I'll have my bottle of Crown Royal ready to go. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors. Presenting one, Sherwood Ford, the Giant. They are the best. They're the Giant for a reason. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Greta Bar-Yeg. And, of course, Betway, 19+. Please play responsibly. Good luck out there tonight, everybody. It's a cold, cold world out there on Betway and on the ice. But I believe, and hey, if it doesn't go our way, we can all vent in the chat after the game. I love you all. Have a good one. Talk in a couple hours.